Let's talk.
I want some rest. Are we having fun yet?
So the Spurs fan base is very divided right now, like really divided. I mean, basically 50-50. People can't decide whether or not they want playoffs or a lottery draft pick. Now, I want to talk to you guys because obviously I've talked about this already on stream, and look, it's a very long stream. I'm not necessarily expecting any of you to go over there and watch that long stream, but I streamed for like 6 hours. About 3 hours of that was dedicated to the tweet and just the overall consensus on what the San Antonio Spurs should do. So right here, as you can see, very 50-50 here. And I wanted to just talk to you guys and try to contextualize it a little bit better. Now, first and foremost, I think some people took it way too far, like these comments, and there was many other comments on this thread in which it was like, oh my goodness, like personal text. Let's chill a little bit. But overall, it was like, okay, I get it. I see that everyone is divided on this. Some people think, hey, experience playoffs no matter what. And some people are like me where it's like, it doesn't really matter. But I do want to say this. I feel like it was very misconstrued. I'm going to read this over. And like I said, I'm doing this again because I'm not expecting people to go watch that live stream VOD. So I'm just going to read this again. I don't quite understand Spurs fans right now. I really do love you, but why choose playoffs over the lottery pick? I get why the players want it, but the fans, experience means nothing if we don't have the team necessary to compete. The team is young. They have time for that. Now, some people have misconstrued this into saying that what I was saying was I want us to tank, which I don't even know why I would be saying that at this point. Of course not at this point. Why would I want we can't tank. There's no way to tank. So some people have genuinely thought that that's what I was saying, and that's not what I was saying at all. So first and foremost, let me just explain what I was saying, and then I'm going to go into trying to contextualize this a little bit better on what I think the San Antonio Spurs should do. So what I was trying to say was not necessarily that I think the team should purposefully lose. What I was confused about, and I addressed it here, is that I didn't understand the fans being necessarily excited for the playoffs because there's so much talent in this lottery. And unless you truly do believe that the 10th seed San Antonio Spurs are true playoff contenders or championship contenders, or we already have our superstars set in stone, I don't understand why you would want this. Now, I understand wanting more basketball, but for me, I'm thinking like long term. Like, I really want us in the long term to have a really good team. I want a dynasty again. And what I don't want is the 2011 Memphis Grizzlies. Now, what do I mean by that? So the Memphis Grizzlies had a very, very good team. 2011, 2012, 2013, they had a really good team. Unfortunately, they met the Spurs later on. I believe it was 2013, 2014? It was one of those two. I get them I forget sometimes. But they got swept by the San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference Finals, and basically because we had stars. We were just a better team. We had stars. And the thing about the Memphis Grizzlies is while they always competed, while they were always there in the playoff race, they just never had enough to get the championship. And they just never had their superstars intact to win a championship. They had Rudy Gay, but Rudy Gay was never a true superstar. Also, he was coming off injuries. It was a lot of things there. Once he got with the team, it didn't gel well. It was just a lot. It wasn't necessarily built around him at that point. But overall, one thing that the Grizzlies did cultivate in that era, though, is that they created the grit and grind. They became a very tough, hard-nosed team in which you know what you're getting into when you go to Memphis, Tennessee. And that was great. That was beautiful. And they played so well. They cultivated a new culture in their city. Now, with that being said, the problem still remained. They didn't take that initial step. And I think the San Antonio Spurs are in the same boat in which we're not taking that initial step. I don't want to be a team that doesn't have the superstars necessary to compete in a championship level or long playoff series. I just don't think that we have that. Now, if you believe we have that, I guess that's a different story. But me personally, I never believed that we ever did the full-on rebuild yet. This is the first season first season without DeMar DeRozan, I don't think that this was the full-on rebuild yet. It's been a while. Some people have critiqued the Spurs for taking so long to do it. Sure, I'm not going to dispute that too much. But when it comes to where we are right now, I don't think we ever did it. And I think that it's necessary and it's essential to take that next step, because if we take that next step, if we take that first initial step in getting a superstar, going full on in the draft, not worrying about anything else, and having a legitimate shot at a top 4 pick, then I definitely could see us possibly being in the position that the Memphis Grizzlies are in right now. They are by far championship contenders. We'll see what happens. But right now, as it stands, the way that they play basketball, they're championship contenders. And the only thing that changed for the Memphis Grizzlies was adding different personnel, adding stars, and building around those stars. Because the fact of the matter is, they are the exact same team. They have the exact same culture, the exact same mentality. They play virtually the same. I mean, you replace Zach Randolph with Ja Morant, and that's your ISO player. But overall, they're just a much better team because they have the superstars necessary to compete at a crazy level. And some people will say, well, without Ja Morant, they have a good record anyway. Don't get blinded by that. The Memphis Grizzlies will not be the Memphis Grizzlies without Ja. And it's just kudos to their front office for doing such a great job. And I think the San Antonio Spurs have done a great job. If you plug in a legitimate superstar or someone that could really be a superstar at a young age, I tell you, this team would be so freaking good. Like, they will be so freaking good. But as it stands right now, I just don't necessarily think that we have that. And this is a draft that I truly do think that we can have someone special. I just don't want to settle for potentially getting into the playoffs, being excited about it, and losing our lottery pick. I just don't think that is necessary. And some people have made the argument that, well, if you lose the lottery, you'll still get a pick outside the lottery. Well, guess what? You're not going to be able to trade up. Some people have made the argument that you'll be able to trade up outside the lottery. It is going to be exceptionally hard to trade up. The San Antonio Spurs been having a hard time trading up for several seasons now. This is nothing new. We have bad luck with trying to trade up, especially a recent history, and we've tried to do it a multitude of times. We've just got lucky because guys have fallen in our lap. But overall, what I'm trying to say is, look, I don't want to be a team that's stuck in a loop of getting into the playoffs, competing, but just not being good enough. Because every year we're getting picks that just won't be good enough. I want us to really go in and get as many potential stars as we possibly can. And the best case scenario that comes out of that is all of them blooming at the same time. Let's say Keldon Johnson does become a star. Boom. The big boom, right? Let's say, and think about it too, and I know I'm rambling a little bit, but let's say that Josh Primo becomes a superstar. Boom. He'll be coming up with the new lottery pick. Let's say Devin Vassell becomes a superstar. Boom. He'll be coming up with the new lottery pick. And not only that, one thing I want to add as well is DeJounte Murray. So DeJounte Murray, he is 25 years old, and there's only so much time there. And I'm not saying that he's old by any means. Obviously, he's not. He's only 25. But what I'm saying is, when he's 25 years old, I want to give him as much talent as humanly possible. Now, I understand where the players are coming from. I understand why they would want to win. I understand it. I just don't understand where we're coming from. So, look, I want to be the 2022 Grizzlies and not be stuck as the 2011 Memphis Grizzlies. If you guys want to support the channel, please do. Patreon, YouTube members, only $2 a month. I'll get with you guys later. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't go too far, okay? I'll get with you later. Deuces.